My oh my oh my. That was just an epic choke job performed by the Detroit Lions in this game, man. They just wet the bed in the second half of this game. Dan Campbell, he even though he's been a great coach, man, that was probably one of the worst coached second halves of any football game all year long in the past couple years. That was just bad. I mean, I get it. People love the aggressiveness. People love taking chances and taking trying to go for the gusto. But when you're deep in the 49ers territory like that, with a chance to go to the Super Bowl, with a chance to go up 17 points and make it a three-score game instead of a two-score game, and you don't kick the 3 points and take it, it's just you can't have that. And man, the key drops by Reynolds and Williams, more so Reynolds on that fourth down and on that on the third down, just key critical drops that you just cannot have in those situations, especially when you're wide open like that and you're dropping the ball. It's just those are backbreakers, those are killers, those are the difference between going to Super Bowl and going home. You got to come up with those plays. The Jameson Williams streak route where he gets behind the defense, and it's a decently thrown ball. It goes straight through his hands. It's almost like he kind of lost it in the air, but you got to find a way to come up with that. It's tough, but you got to find a way. And Detroit, they blew a great opportunity, blew a great chance to be up by that much and to blow that entire lead with a turnover and just mistakes on fourth down and just not taking the points where they're there. Dan Campbell, I know in the press conference he said, he doesn't regret his decision or that he doesn't have a problem with his decision, but I know deep down inside when he sleeps tonight, when he looks in the mirror, he's going to wish he had that back, obviously, because hindsight is 2020, obviously. In hindsight, he would have said, man, I wish I would have just took the 3 points, made it a three-score game, and make the Niners, who was struggling to move the ball earlier in the game, make them have to go down and get points. Make them have to score on you. Make them have to move the ball and kill more time off the clock. And then the terrible call by, I don't know if it was by Ben Johnson or if it was by Dan Campbell, whoever made the call at the end of the game where you're trying to make it a one-score game again to to run the ball on second and goal. It's just, you can't have that. That's just, because not only is that wasted a timeout that they needed, wasted time off the clock, and it basically put you in a scenario where you had to go for the onside kick where you could have, if you kept throwing it and tried to pass the ball, which you eventually did, you would have still had your 3 timeouts. It would have had a chance to stop them to get the ball back, to have a little bit of time on the clock to possibly tie the game up. By you going for a run play on second and goal, that completely messed you up. It's sad because I feel like Detroit, in terms of Jared Goff, in terms of, I want to say, Browns, Gibbs and Montgomery and all of these boys, and Porter especially, this whole offense, they looked like the best team in football in the first half of that game. I mean, they were doing everything they wanted to do to the Niners. I mean, Niners couldn't stop the run. They couldn't stop the pass. They were getting destroyed up in the trenches. They had Warner and Greenlaw somewhat discombobulated most of the first half. It's just, to let that opportunity waste it's an epic collapse when it comes to the defense. Excuse me, not the defense, when it comes to the coaching. The coaching, that was just an epic collapse performance by the coaching. They gotta hold themselves accountable. That just was not a good way. If we're gonna lose, let us lose because they just, were better than us across the board. But don't lose because we leave points on the board and give them more opportunities to score. It's just, that's not how you want to lose. Like I said before, I feel bad for Detroit Lions fans. This is the farthest they've gotten in years. First time them being in an NFC Championship game in over 20 years. They finally got some success, and to have it end like this, it sucks for them. The saving grace for them as a team is you got a great head coach. Even though he coached very, very poorly in this second half, he's still a really, really good head coach. Your future still looks bright. You still got a lot of all these guys are still young. Jared Goff still, it looks like a top 10 quarterback in my opinion, the way he plays. A lot of your pieces on both sides of the ball are still young, so I wouldn't sweat it. I know it's tough, but you draft well this offseason. You make the right free agency pickups. It wouldn't shock me one bit if Detroit is back here next year in the NFC Championship game again, trying to get to the Super Bowl. They got the team. They got the coach. They can get back here, but when it comes to this NFC Championship game, epic collapse. Just very putrid performance by the coaching staff in the second half of this game. They got out-coached on every asset, and it sucks. But that's all I got. Thank you guys all for watching, and as always, until we meet again,